Now, let's talk about Donald Trump and indeed Keir Starmer. He's cropping up a lot tonight, isn't he? This guy, Keir Starmer, our Prime Minister, never puts a foot right.
Donald Trump dropped an absolute bombshell on Keir Starmer during a live TV broadcast, and honestly, Starmer kind of had it coming. But here's the real question: why does the entire UK have to deal with the fallout of Starmer's misplaced loyalty? This baffling move saw Starmer sending a group of MPs to back Kamala Harris, seemingly confident she had it all locked up this time. However, when the results came in, the tables turned dramatically. And, as we all know, Trump isn't the kind of person to let that sort of overconfidence go unchecked.
Guess what he's done now? He's sanctioned sending 100 Labour volunteers to the key swing states in America to help Kamala, the Democrat campaigner, the Democrat candidate.
He's out for revenge, and he's serving it up in his signature no-mercy, savage style. Trump is vowing to devour UK jobs like they're a plate of McNuggets and slap on some brutal taxes. But how did Starmer even manage to land the UK in this mess in the first place? And what exactly is Trump plotting in his billionaire brain? Buckle up, because I'm about to break it all down for you in this video.
Donald Trump is furious. He accuses Labour of interfering in a foreign election, as in America's, and he's written a legal letter to an organisation called the US Federal Election Commission.
So, here we are, smack dab in the middle of one of the biggest and most awkward international messes imaginable, one that Keir Starmer probably never saw coming. And why? Because he decided to play the loyal buddy to Kamala Harris.
There was at least 100 sort of Labour apparatchiks who seem to have organised this trip out to the US to campaign. They're saying that they paid their own way, that this isn't anything organised under the banner of the Labour Party.
Keir Starmer, the supposed master of diplomacy, apparently decided the best way to solidify the UK's position was to send a small army of current and former staffers across the pond to cheer on Kamala Harris. Because, clearly, what international relations truly need is an enthusiastic cheerleading squad. Forget about complex trade negotiations or, the pressing economic issues facing the UK. No, the real priority was making sure Kamala Harris felt loved and supported by 100 handpicked UK representatives. Brilliant move, truly.
Mr. Speaker, can I begin by congratulating President-elect Trump on his historic election victory. As the closest of allies, the UK and US will continue to work together to protect our shared values of freedom and democracy.
There might have been just a tiny flaw in this grand strategy, like the part where Trump, with his signature flair for the dramatic, decided to slap the UK with massive tariffs. Funny how those 100 cheerleaders didn't exactly shield Britain from that blow. But hey, at least Kamala Harris had her army of fans. Totally worth it, right? Poor Keir Starmer, the supposed mastermind behind the UK's descent into this mess. Honestly, who could have guessed that his unmatched political brilliance would land the country in such a delightful predicament? Who needs careful negotiation or even a hint of foresight when you've got Starmer's genius at work? While the rest of us are stuck playing checkers, he's been out here playing some next level 4D chess.
The most beautiful word in the dictionary is tariff, and it's my favorite word. It needs a public relations firm to help it, but to me it's the most beautiful word in the dictionary.
Donald Trump proves that subtlety is overrated. Why go for a smooth approach when you can just drop a bomb and watch the chaos unfold? He holds grudges like they're collectibles, and his idea of a comeback is more like a wrecking ball to the face. Tact? Nah, that's for the faint-hearted. Trump's all about making sure you never forget who's in charge, even if it means turning a small issue into a full-blown drama. You cross him, and he's ready to hit back.
You cross him, and he's ready to hit back with all the grace of a bull in a china shop. Donald Trump clearly loves a good plot twist, so what does he do in response to Starmer's bold diplomatic move? He responded in classic Trump style by threatening a 20% tariff on UK goods. Oh, the timing, just chef's kiss. Because naturally, when you're dealing with a cheerleading squad across the pond, the most logical response is to make the UK pay for it, literally. A 20% tariff? That's not a friendly reminder, that's a smackdown. It's like Trump saw Starmer's grand gesture and thought, let me just make sure you feel all of that enthusiasm in your economy. And this is happening when UK economists are already scrambling, running their calculators like they're about to lose their jobs.
I sat listening to the numbers thinking this budget is illiterate. I don't know who's doing the sums, whether perhaps it's the Right Honourable Member for Hackney North, but the sums do not work, and the markets now agree with me.
A $22 billion hit isn't exactly the kind of thing you can brush off with a casual better luck next time attitude. Experts are seriously worried, warning that if this tariff debacle escalates, we're not just facing a minor hiccup. No, this is shaping up to be an economic smackdown of epic proportions, with far-reaching consequences. And let's not overlook the irony here. Remember those golden campaign promises? He swore up and down there'd be no tax increases. Yet here we are, staring down the barrel of massive tariffs that could send shockwaves through the economy.
We will not raise tax on working people. No tax rises for income tax, for national insurance, for VAT.
We will not raise income tax. We will not raise national insurance. We will not raise VAT.
Well, surprise, surprise. It turns out those promises were about as genuine as a magician's disappearing act. Taxes are up, tariffs are climbing, and the UK finds itself stuck in the middle of a diplomatic drama that no one signed up for. The grand spectacle continues to unfold, leaving the country caught in the crossfire of political theatrics. Now, with tariffs thrown into the mix, the UK economy seems to be barreling toward an even deeper pit. The outlook is grim, and the ride is far from over. Buckle up, because this economic roller coaster is just beginning to pick up speed, and it's not looking like there's an easy way off.
And now moving to China, several American companies are planning to shift their production out of China after President-elect Donald Trump's victory. Throughout his campaign, the Republican threatened to impose 60 to 100% tariffs on goods imported from China.
Trump's so-called tariff talk isn't just casual bluster, it's starting to look a lot like a personal revenge mission. Some are beginning to suspect that this isn't just about politics but a calculated move to settle scores, and honestly, they might be onto something. If you think about it, this is classic Trump strategy. Hit hard, keep everyone guessing, and make it personal when it suits the narrative. It's a playbook that has worked for him before, and it seems like he's pulling the same trick out of the hat yet again.
Tremendous economic power. And by the way, if we're not careful, we're not going to have that for long either. That's going to go down the tubes with everything else. But if China or some other country is behaving badly, we have things called tariffs that are so severe.
Trump has a history of using tariffs not just as economic tools but as bold power moves. Back during his first term in office, he didn't hesitate to impose tariffs on allies like Canada and Mexico, treating them almost as if they were unruly teenagers in need of discipline. In Trump's playbook, tariffs aren't merely about balancing trade, they're a direct way to assert dominance and remind everyone who's in charge. Even former UK Ambassador Lord Darroch has chimed in, emphasizing that Trump doesn't mess around when it comes to tariffs. According to Darroch, when Trump issues a threat, it's never just an empty bluff. This isn't just about numbers or trade deficits, it's about a full-on display of power and control, leaving no room for doubt about who's calling the shots.
To me, the most beautiful word in the dictionary is tariff. And it's my favorite word. It needs a public relations firm to help it, but to me, it's the most beautiful word in the dictionary.
Other countries are watching closely, and with good reason. If Trump is willing to play hardball with one of America's closest allies, who's to say who might be next? Global trade alliances are on increasingly shaky ground, and Trump seems perfectly content to keep them that way if it helps him drive home his point. The uncertainty he creates ripples far beyond the UK, sending a clear message that no one is off limits. Now, let's talk numbers because this isn't just a political spat, it's a potential economic upheaval. The trade relationship between the UK and the US is worth a staggering $300 billion annually, and Trump's tariff threats are putting that at serious risk. The implications of this kind of strain on such a significant partnership could be catastrophic, making this more than just a game of political brinkmanship.
Officials will be considering lots of different scenarios, but the position of the government is that we support free trade and we support the trading relationship between the United States and the United Kingdom. It's a very strong, very fruitful relationship, both for us but also for the American economy, and of course we want to protect that and strengthen it in the years ahead.
This isn't just pocket change, it's much bigger than that. America is the UK's largest single trading partner. Oh, no big deal, right? Just the backbone of the UK's economy. Forget about that, who needs it when you've got fish and chips, right? A few tariffs? No problem. It's not like those billions in trade are crucial for jobs, growth, or keeping things running smoothly.
If you're in private business, or if you're a pensioner, as far as Labour's concerned, you just go and do one. Right? They have decided that those people won't vote for them, and they're going for those living on benefits. They're going for those working in the public sector. It's actually, if you think about it, quite divisive.
If tariffs hit hard, we're talking about industries facing prohibitive costs, the kind of costs that make exports impossible. The whole situation is evidence that when Trump drops a bombshell, he doesn't hold back. And right now, Starmer and the UK are finding out just how far he's willing to go to make his point.
To me, the most beautiful word in the dictionary is tariff. And it's my favorite word. It needs a public relations firm to help it. But to me, it's the most beautiful word in the dictionary.
The global fallout of Trump's tariff tantrum is something to keep an eye on because it's not just the UK that'll be feeling the heat. If Trump rolls out a sweeping 20% tariff, the ripple effects won't stop at the English Channel. According to the CITP, a blanket 20% tariff could actually shave a good 7% off the global economy. We're talking about the combined economies of France and Germany, all that growth going down the drain, courtesy of the tariff-loving Trump. And the best part? The International Monetary Fund has already been sounding the alarm about rising global inflation and the kind of economic instability that keeps economists up at night. Trump's decision to slap tariffs on one of America's closest allies is pretty much fuel to that fire, like waving a match over a barrel of gasoline.
Yeah, everyone seems quite pleased this morning. I imagine, Brits are not overwhelmingly disposed to Donald Trump, I think, so there will be people in the wider country who aren't quite so pleased about it. But I think the challenge now is for Keir Starmer and David Lammy, the Foreign Secretary, to really knuckle down and develop the relationship that they've begun to try and create with the Trump team.
Here's Starmer's little dilemma. Does he play nice and negotiate with Trump directly, swallowing a bit of pride for the sake of diplomacy, or does he rally with the EU and try to go up against Trump's economic strong-arm tactics? It's like the ultimate choose-your-own-adventure, but with much more money and political futures on the line.
I've said many, many times the special relationship between the UK and the US was forged in very difficult circumstances historically. In our joint view, it's as important today as it's ever been.
Looking ahead, we're staring at a future that could rewrite UK politics as we know it. If Starmer fumbles, he's setting himself up for a massive public backlash. People won't forget his anti-Trump stance, and now he's facing a potential economic crisis because of it. This crisis might just leave Starmer forced into alliances he never planned on, or maybe, just maybe, he'll forge a partnership with Trump that's as volatile as it is unpredictable. So here we are, Keir Starmer staring down a Trump-made economic cliff, all while juggling the fallout of his own anti-Trump antics. What's next for the so-called special relationship when Trump has tariffs in one hand and leverage in the other? Can Starmer pull off a diplomatic miracle, or will Britain end up paying the price for a rivalry it didn't ask for? With Trump back in power, one thing's clear, this isn't the UK-US relationship we knew.